I just want to go through a few photos of some things, just some strange things and others not so strange. But the first thing is the sunset last weekend, actually Saturday, up at Nana's house. Send prayers, because Kelly's going through a rough time, and a good friend of mine, Kelly's going through a very rough time. You know her as Kelly Marie Alaska, and my daddy's going through a rough time on his job. It's just chaotic and just really, well, obviously finances could be better, but the other thing is just that it's just so stressful, and he's at wit's end with it, and I just ask that you pray. Anyway, on to the video. I'm going to still try to make videos. I went through a very dark day yesterday. Actually, that's just what I'm going to talk about for this video. I went through a dark, rough patch yesterday. And I was so dark, and then I looked up the horoscope afterwards. I just thought, you know what? I haven't looked up horoscopes in like 2 years. It's been 2 years since I actually even really looked them up and even read anything. I mean, actually detailed. I haven't even downloaded an app for it in several years, since I was in high school. But I looked it up, and it was accurate. It said that it's best not to say much. Everything that could go wrong will go wrong, and just tensions high. Tensions are high. Don't say much. And I was I was very high strung and dark, and it's like everything. I love you all, and I love my family. I really do. But it's like, when you're in that mindset, it's like Dolly Parton was talking about when she got depressed. When you're in that mindset, there's really no going out of it, and then you have to snap out of it. That darkness. And I think this picture really illustrates it well, really. The sunset in the distance, it's like that light in the distance. And it was always out of reach. But anyway, I felt that really, really strong yesterday, just that darkness. Kelly's going through a bad, rough patch right now, too. Pray for her. And my daddy's going through a rough patch. I went through a rough, dark patch yesterday. I'm talking so depressed, dark, that it's like out of nowhere that you just like... I don't even want to describe it on the internet, because I don't want it taken out of proportion. Just pray. And Daddy, he's heading down to Louisiana, and he's having a hard time figuring out where he is, where he's going, and he's trying to use the GPS and the stupid computers that are in the truck. They make them do what they want them to do under that stupid system, that controlled system that truckers are under because of the government laws and regulations and hours of service laws. And sometimes, when you have to be 8 hours, when you have to go out of range and try to find another route around, or something pops up in the way, you can't always go by the computer hours. They don't know what's going on. And those computers make you stop when you don't need to, and then they put you in violation when you're driving around. It's a mess. It's really wrong. But then the computers put him in violation when he shouldn't be, and because of an accident ahead, or construction, or something, you had to just sit there during your hours of service, and then it goes, you're supposed to be in sleeper berth and all kinds of crap. It's just really, it's stupid. When used to, you could work it, and now you really can't. And but he tried, and Mama had to stay on the phone with him. And I had to use the maps, Google Maps, and it's been just... we have to help him like we used to a lot of times, even though he has the GPS, and he doesn't have a smartphone. He has the Samsung Rugby flip phone, a rugged, rough phones for truckers, basically. It's a military phone, we stayed on the phone with him. We had to have the internet and the micro tower to be able to keep communicating, because they don't give us signal here. So without the internet, we have nothing. No means of communication here in this one spot. Everywhere else has communication, cell phone signal, but we don't. Anyway, and I pulled up the maps, and I had to modify. It's difficult to modify different routes on these maps, on Google Maps, when you're actually on the tablet, And then Mama looked through different places and then finally looked for a truck stop for him to stop. And he's resting right now for a little while. I don't know how long, but it's just chaotic. And he was at wit's end and just... He's a diabetic, so he has to go through that. And then that anxiety and just at wit's end. He goes ballistically upset, and it goes into an anxiety attack and what do you call it? Just about like myself, what I've gone through. A nervous breakdown. Granny went through that. I went through a nervous breakdown, not to the extent, the same way that Daddy and I both go through, but he just went into a nervous breakdown, and that's not good on the road. It's like you're just at wit's end because you don't know. It's just the violation of hours of service and all kinds of things you're afraid you'll be in violation of if you do this, that, or the other, and you can't know what's going to happen on the road. And we had to look for various routes, and you can't afford the toll roads. Some of them want to charge you. It would charge you $100 just to go through these roads, and that is ridiculous. They used to send into Missouri and Carolina, mostly regular, and now they suddenly started sending him to Louisiana, and it's not good. He hasn't been there in a long time. So we had to stay on the phone and use the tablet on the internet and use Google Maps and help Daddy all night long to find out where he was going and be able to kind of maneuver him down the road, basically. And Mama was helping with that. Every time I hold a device, it screws up, it messes up, so I have a hard time, using them without them messing up on me, but I had to still help. I had to copy and paste things right and put from here to here or maneuver the map around, get it to where it would show the directions, and then Mama could read it off and maneuver it from there. She could maneuver it back and forth on the map, and it was just a mess all night. We talked from yesterday to early this morning, getting him through I'm talking hours, trying to get him where he needed to go. And we were on the phone all night. She was on the phone all night long with him and looking on my tablet, my Samsung tablet on Google Maps, trying to maneuver him down the road. Even though he had the GPS, and he put the GPS in truck mode and no toll roads, avoid tolls. But it didn't tell him everything he needed to know. And he went all the way around and accidentally went into Kansas, and he was just, he went a long way around by accident and he couldn't turn around. And he was at wit's end, having nervous breakdown, so emotionally upset, and I understand, but he was just crazy emotional, crazy upset. I get that way, but he was having a really hard time out there, just by himself, sitting there, not knowing what to how to maneuver through, and then trying to figure out whether he could do the 8-2 or 10-2, the thing that they have now. And they said it is so difficult on the trucker's website. They say it's just more difficult than it's worth. And he called one friend that he actually does have, I guess, at that workplace. He's a pretty nice guy, and he told him a little bit about what to do and how to avoid certain places. And what he said, you'll be so close that you can smell the place that you're supposed to stop at. But he said but you won't be able to go. You'll have to stop. You won't be able to drive any further. You'll be out of hours. And it's really crazy the way these laws are now. And it drives the driver crazy. The guy that he talks to said he won't be doing that any much longer. After the first of the year, he's going to a different company because it's just not working out. And you can't plan things out when you've got uncertainty. And if you don't have dedicated runs, dedicated routes, it is pretty crazy out there. And the people you have to deal with, and then they don't understand what you're going through, and then it makes you at wit's end, and you just go crazy. But that's what he's been going through, and then I was going through darkness and depression and anxiety yesterday, and people out there in this world will think, you don't have any reason, you don't have a job, you don't have to work, you don't have to do this, you've got everything provided for, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to do this, that, and the other, you shouldn't have any problems. That's not the case for me. You can have onset darkness, depression, anxiety, and just complete mental breakdown for nothing. It can happen out of nowhere. And I'm thankful for my parents. I'm thankful for you, and I thank God for everyone that has been there for me on this journey. And I think, just like Kelly's been going through a lot of bad luck and a lot of bad things happening, and the dark side will. Let me tell you, it will try to break you down. It really will. And The problem I have is this system now, this controlled system. And it tries in every way. These lawmakers don't understand what the drivers and truck drivers have to go through, back to what he's going through and what we go through. You don't know. They don't know. They just push a pencil, touch a screen, select some buttons, whatever. They make some laws that they think is suitable, and they don't have to go through it, and they don't have to drive. I don't know. It opened Google Maps. I don't know why. That's odd. Huh. But they don't know what the drivers are going through. They don't know what the drivers have to deal with, and if they did, they wouldn't be making those crazy laws, I'll tell you that. Alright, keep us in your prayers, because it's been nuts. It's been crazy. I love you all. Signing out. My links are below if you'd like to show support through any type of means, and if you'd like to leave your comments by email instead of in the comment section, I understand as well. The email for this channel is below also. I just needed to talk. We need your prayers. Kelly needs your prayers and your love as well. Positive energy. Let's raise the vibration, because it is time. It is way past time. I mean, I guess it's going to happen when it happens, but it's time. And may the Lord bring the time of truth in and positive energy, because it needs to be. And just wanted to talk a little bit. I love you all. In the name of the Lord, bless you. Signing out. I just needed to share.